hard to capture, extravagant, reservate the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifested. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my sacred life.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that we talk about here on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy. So I thank you for your support. However, before you get off of this video because you don't want to be spoiled, make sure to hit the like button, because hitting the like button is the one thing that will make Himawari stop crying and will make Himawari smile. However, if this topic has you curious and you want to read the manga but you can't do so because you're region blocked, then I've got a really great recommendation for you. I suggest using Atlas VPN. That way you can get around those pesky region blocks for anime and manga. Atlas VPN is a tool that encrypts your data and hides your virtual location. When you connect to a VPN server, your device is given a new IP and a DNS address. All the traffic is encrypted and routed to the VPN server. When the traffic arrives at the server, the VPN server decrypts the info and allows the traffic to access the desired destination. Atlas VPN has over 5 million users worldwide, and you could be one of those too if you make the big brain decision of using Atlas VPN. Make sure to grab Atlas VPN for $1.39 a month before the deal expires. And if you're like me and you do a lot of your business and communication online, a VPN is definitely going to come in handy. Or if you're just trying to watch some cool anime or movies that are region blocked, a VPN will definitely help you out there. And personally, because of their security features, I highly recommend Atlas VPN. Their data breach monitor feature is something that will save you a lot of trouble in the future. By inserting your email address, the tool scans the internet to see if it's ended up in any recorded data breaches or data dumps. That includes emails, names, passwords, and other sensitive information. Enabling notifications ensures that you're aware of such incidents, and it gives you a heads up to change passwords before your info is stolen. Another good thing about Atlas VPN is that it's supported on any device and has a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is another reason why you should try out Atlas VPN. There's a whole world of anime out there that you can't watch legally without a VPN, so if you're interested, use my link in the description box to grab Atlas VPN for $1.39 a month before this awesome deal expires. And trust me, you are going to regret this if you do not jump on this opportunity, because a quality VPN at this price is something you cannot pass up. And before we get out of here, just want to thank Atlas VPN for sponsoring today's video. So with that being said, though, let's jump right into the actual discussion. So diving right into it, I think we need to have a conversation about, once again, who's inside of that pod that Amado has. Are we in a situation where they're gonna drag this out and Masashi Kishimoto is gonna leave it dangling over our heads like he did with who's inside the final coffin? Lo and behold, that ended up being Mamoru Uchiha. Well, who is it that's gonna be inside of this pod right here? So I've already done my video explaining to you who I personally think it is. However, the whole purpose of this is to get your thoughts on who is inside that final pod. And one name I've seen quite a few people actually bring up is none other than Shisui Uchiha. And I gotta say, first and foremost, I love this idea. I don't think it's likely, but I love the idea. And I'll tell you why this actually works narratively. So when you look at the abilities of Ada, Shisui is the one person that could, in theory, actually rewrite all of that right there. Because if I'm right about Ada's ability to actually control people's hearts and etc., it really starts when Ada's able to actually get eye contact with a person. Well, when you look at Shisui Uchiha, Shisui hands down possesses the most overpowered genjutsu other than the infinite Tsukiyomi. Shisui has the ability of Kotoamatsukami, and once we first found out about Ada's abilities, I said this really reminds me of Kotoamatsukami, only a little bit differently. And when you look at the idea of having somebody like Shisui brought back as a clone and then having the body augmented and modified to turn that person into a cyborg, just like how you had Kashin Koji, who was a clone of Jiraiya and then had his body modified like Kawaki to become a cyborg. I think this is a really good opportunity right here to where Ada has that ability that can control your hearts and basically make you a walking simp for her. Shisui Uchiha's Kotoamatsukami gives you the opportunity to actually counter that right there, because Shisui's Kotoamatsukami gives you the option of controlling somebody's free will, making them doing your bidding, while also making them think that this was actually their actual choice. And I think that is something where it works. And then the other side, from a narrative perspective, now that this is Masashi Kishimoto who's doing the writing, we've already seen one person get brought back as a clone and turn into a cyborg. Kashin Koji was a clone of Jiraiya, turned into a cyborg. Why is that important? Because typically the way Kishimoto does stuff is when one thing happens to Naruto, the other thing happens to Sasuke. They usually parallel one another. So Naruto's already had somebody who was close to him brought back as an actual clone. Well, you could also have a situation to where somebody that Sasuke is aware of from the Uchiha clan gets brought back as an actual cyborg. Now, for the best impact, it would make sense that to be Itachi Uchiha. However, I think that because Kishimoto's already brought Itachi back, I'm really wondering if this is a situation where, since he's already been reanimated, they're not going to go this route. But instead, you can look at the character Shisui, who never actually formally got the opportunity for you to see what he could do. You have the anime version where Danzo completely just messed this dude up. You have the manga version of the story where everything happened off screen. You have the Naruto Ninja Escapades OVA where it took all those Anbu jumping Shisui for Danzo to be able to actually take his eye. That OVA was actually something that was written by Masashi Kishimoto for the Naruto Storm Generations video game, if I recall that one right. It's either Storm Generations or Revolutions. And then you also have the Itachi Shinden Midnight Light novel where it gets revealed in that one that the reason why Danzo was able to actually get the drop on Shisui is that Shisui was actually poisoned because they saw Shisui's abilities as being something that Danzo himself couldn't handle, and he needed to get that edge like that. So I think you're in a situation where it gives you opportunity to actually show off Shisui's capabilities, and if you bring him back as a cyborg and do the same thing where Kashin Koji is hands down somebody that's stronger than Jiraiya, in my opinion, you could do the same thing with Shisui and you could kind of beef him up by using ninja tech. I think that's actually something that's pretty damn brilliant right there. And I think another way you can actually look at this too is, instead of going the route of Itachi, by going with Shisui, you get the opportunity to actually see a different perspective of the Uchiha massacre, because there is the possibility that just as Kashin Koji, before he was actually finished off, he started getting small memories, fragmented memories of Jiraiya. I think you could have something like that with Shisui, and I think it's so poetic, in my opinion. If you turn this into the character of Shisui, you have the opportunity to where Shisui, somebody who loved the village and was loyal to the village, is being brought back as a clone and is fulfilling that same purpose right there. I think that is something that works, and again, his ability, his genjutsu ability, is a walking counter to Ada. Between those two things, it definitely works, but obviously the narrative impact is that thing that works a lot better, because on top of it being a situation where Naruto and Sasuke both had somebody brought back as a clone, you also have the situation where if Boruto learns that Kashin Koji was a clone of Jiraiya, he knows that Jiraiya was Naruto's mentor, and when you take in the anime continuity of the time slip arc, which was a Masashi Kishimoto arc, you have the situation where Boruto, in theory, should know who Jiraiya is on a great detail, so knowing that Koji was a clone of Jiraiya would be something that resonates with Boruto. Now, for the character of Sarada, this is where you had that impact there, because just as Boruto would be indirectly impacted with the Koji Jiraiya thing, you have the same thing here with Sarada, where Sarada, it was shown in the anime where she's looking through those books of the Uchiha clan and she's trying to learn more about the actual clan. You have somebody that is a clone of somebody from that time period back there. That's the opportunity right there to actually indirectly develop Sarada as well. Obviously, this clone of Shisui would not have the knowledge that Shisui had. It's a different person, but you have the opportunity to see how Sarada might react to something like that. And then when you look at it from a combat perspective, you have the opportunity, like with the character Shisui, where when you look at him, this was a character that had 3 changes in chakra nature. He was proficient in fire release, he was proficient in wind release, as well as lightning release. His body flicker was so fast that Shisui was considered to be one of the fastest people on the actual planet. When you also look at the fact that Masashi Kishimoto drew a Susanoo for him in that OVA, it's one of those things where we never actually got the opportunity to actually see Shisui fully cut loose. And I think that when you look at it from a combat perspective, before you even amp him up with ninja tech, you're looking at a guy who even amongst the Uchiha clan, Shisui was a character that was hands down one of the most powerful members in the actual clan. There's a reason why Kabuto was so damn adamant on wanting to actually reanimate Shisui and trying to get hold of Danzo's body, because he could have reanimated him as an Edo Tensei. The body flicker itself is something to where Shisui would have been able to immediately slaughter a bunch of people. If you have a cyborg clone of this, Shisui in the anime, his body flicker in the adaptation of the Itachi Shinden novels, in the anime original scenes where they're fighting against those Anbu, Shisui was moving so fast that he was making after images that were actually tangible and actually combating the actual Anbu they were fighting. And they're moving so fast that the after images became tangible, and it was throwing off the sensory ninja. Honestly, I think from a combat perspective, that's probably your best bet when dealing with characters like Code and Ada and Damon, especially if you give them a more amped up version of Kotoamatsukami. Again, I don't think this is likely, but I do like this idea of potentially having Shisui brought back as a cyborg clone. However, I want to know from you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this possibility? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.